Hey guys, back again with another video. Today we'll be looking at how much of an achievement is it to be the UFC double champ. Since the start of the UFC in 1993, fighters have always sought out greatness, whether it's through having an unblemished record to long extended title runs that lasted for years. However, nothing matches up to the accomplishment of being a two-weight champion. The phrase known as champ describes an individual that is holding two UFC belts in two different weight classes at the same time. The definition of world champion differs from person to person. I take the traditional point of view that hardcores take, which states that someone is only a champion when they have defended their belt against the best, hence the phrase undisputed. There has only been 4 UFC fighters to complete this historical achievement. However, as a hardcore, I have to question this piece of history. Did the fighters become the double champ because they were the best in 2 weight classes at that current time? Or were they fortunate to be at the right place at the right time? In this video, we look at how these fighters became 2 weight champions and explore what circumstances arose for this to happen. Number 1. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor first won the featherweight title by knocking out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds at UFC 194 in December 2015. This was Conor's very first title in the UFC. Conor would then go on to fight Nate Diaz twice that year at welterweight. Conor would lose the first fight and win the second fight. 11 months after capturing the UFC featherweight belt, he sat at the top of the octagon in Madison Square Garden holding both the featherweight and lightweight title after stopping Eddie Alvarez in the second round at UFC 205. Due to Conor's inactivity in the lightweight division, Conor was asked to relinquish the belt because he did not appear to want to defend the featherweight belt. A month after winning his second title, he gave the belt up so that Max Holloway and Anthony Pettis could fight for the belt. Conor then decided to sit out the year and venture into boxing. Conor would then go on to fight Floyd Mayweather in a summer blockbuster fight while still holding the UFC lightweight belt. In April of 2008, Conor would be stripped of the belt again due to inactivity in the division. The belt would be fought for by Khabib and Tony, which would then change to Khabib and Al Iaquinta. Conor never defended either title and eventually was stripped of both. Conor would then fight Khabib in 2018 and lose via submission, which leads us to question if Conor was to fight Khabib for the title back in 2017, would he have become the double champion, or was he more a victim of circumstance? Number 2. Daniel Cormier. Cormier became the light heavyweight champion when he submitted Anthony Johnson in the 3rd round to claim the vacant title at UFC 187. In May 2015, Cormier defended the belt twice, however lost it to John Jones in July 2017, then got it back a month later when that bout was overturned to a no contest after John Jones tested positive to performance-enhancing substances. Number 2. In July 2018, as the reigning light heavyweight champion, Cormier knocked out heavyweight Stipe Miocic in the first round at UFC 226 to become the double champion. Cormier vacated the lightweight title shortly before he was stripped of the belt when Jones and Gustafsson fought for the belt at UFC 236. Cormier would make one title defense against Derek Lewis and then lose the belt to Stipe in a rematch at UFC 241. Cormier is now left beltless entering 2020. Even though he once held both belts, the question is, had Jones not been suspended, would Cormier have ever lifted the lightweight belt? Number 3. Amanda Nunes. Nunes took the women's bantamweight title from Miesha Tate with a first round submission at UFC 200 in July 2016. The next 22 months, Nunes defended that title by beating Ronda Rousey and Valentina Shevchenko. At UFC 232 in December 2018, Nunes moved up to challenge featherweight champion Chris Cyborg, who hadn't lost an MMA fight in 13 years. Nunes knocked her out in 51 seconds to claim both belts. Even though she has not had the chance to defend her featherweight title yet, it is clear Nunes is the undisputed champion in both weight divisions. Chris Cyborg was offered the rematch immediately after, but refused the fight. Number 4. Henry Cejudo. Cejudo became the flyweight champion when he ended Demetrius Johnson's 6-year reign as the king of the 125-pounders with a split decision victory at UFC 227. He defended his title the following January as he knocked out bantam champion TJ Dillashaw, who was dropping down a division to try to get his name on the list. TJ Dillashaw then tested positive for EPOs and vacated his title. Cejudo then stopped Marlon Moraes at UFC 236 to claim the vacant bantamweight title and become a double champ. If Henry Cejudo is able to beat Jose Aldo and defend the belt, then there will be no doubt he is the undisputed double champ. Hey guys, this is the part of the video where I give you my opinion on whether the person gained the title due to favourable circumstances or whether they were actually the best in that weight division. Now remember, this is my opinion, and if you disagree, that's fine. Maybe start a debate in the comments section and let me hear what you have to say. Conor was definitely due to circumstance. When we look at his run at lightweight, he faced Eddie Alvarez to win the championship. If you look at Eddie Alvarez now, he's not even in the UFC. And if he was still in the UFC, where do you guys honestly think he would rank in the current lightweight division? I know for sure Dustin Poirier would definitely beat him, Cowboy Cerrone would definitely beat him, Tony Ferguson would definitely beat him, Justin Gaethje would also beat him. Now, I rate Conor McGregor's UFC 205 performance against Eddie Alvarez. However, I feel like your competition says a lot about the situation at the lightweight division that time. Had Conor taken the conventional route and fought the guys who are ranked in the top 5 right now, it really does leave the question, would Conor have had 2 belts? I personally think no. I definitely think if he had ran into Khabib earlier, he would have been beaten. And at UFC 229, when Conor and Khabib finally met up, we finally saw the dominance of Khabib could never get rid of, and it was apparent that he had been the best lightweight for numbers of years. He just needed the time to finally face Conor McGregor and prove to the world that he's the undisputed champion. Now, we can say that, you can never change history and Conor is the double champion, but all I'm trying to say is, had Conor and Khabib fought earlier and for the championship, I think we'll be looking at Conor at just the featherweight champion and not the double champion. Now, Daniel Cormier. This is probably one of my favourite fighters in the UFC. I'm honestly going to be so disappointed the day he retires, but when I look back at his career, it's just so unfortunate. He was fighting around the same time as John Jones. It has to be noted that DC's light heavyweight title reign came as a result of John Jones being suspended. DC held the belt in the lightweight division, however, he never actually beat John Jones. In fact, in both of their fights, he never won. That's why John Jones calls him the fake champion, because whenever DC held that lightweight belt, that was either due to John being suspended or John being caught up in some drama with USADA. It took me some time to actually comprehend it, but when I actually thought about it, it is very true. DC became the champion without beating the champion, and then when the champion came back, DC relinquished the belt and went to fight in heavyweight. Now in heavyweight, he did have a better run. He did beat Stipe Miocic and then he did defend it against Derek Lewis, but then he was beaten by Stipe Miocic and now is about to fight Stipe for a 3rd fight. As harsh as it is to say, DC became the double champ due to circumstance. Had John Jones never been suspended, I guarantee DC would have never held that lightweight belt. The last 2 on the list are Amanda Nunes and Henry Cejudo, and they're currently the 2 active double champions. Now, with Amanda Nunes, there's no sort of controversy or doubting her dominance in both weight divisions. She knocked out Chris Cyborg to become the featherweight champion, and then Chris Cyborg turned down the rematch. And then her bantamweight championship, she knocked out Ronda Rousey, Holly Holmes and Miesha Tate. Now, there's no doubt she's the best, and the UFC are currently now struggling to find opponents for her. We might never see another title reign in 2 divisions like Amanda Nunes, so let's sit back now and watch her greatness unfold. Henry, on the other hand, beat Demetrius Johnson. This was seen as a passing of the torch, giving him now the keys to that division and letting him be the king of the flyweights. Now, the only controversy that there is about Henry Cejudo is possibly his first fight against TJ Dillashaw. A lot of people argue that the knockout was not actually a knockout and that Dillashaw was still fine to continue, but currently, as history has it, Henry Cejudo won that fight. Now, it will be interesting when Dillashaw does come back and they both do fight at the bantamweight division. It will be interesting to see who will win. I think if Henry is able to win when TJ comes back, then he would solidify himself as the king of both divisions. But for now, I can say he's undisputed and the best in both divisions. I can already see people putting stuff in the comment section. However, just remember that this is my opinion, and in the first half of the video I stated fact, and in the second part of the video is opinion. Peace. Please subscribe to MMA Daily and turn your notifications on, and I'll be back with a video tomorrow.